Very
What
comfy.
brought
Thank
you in?
you. So I'm here with DW73. I was so lucky. We're in like the last 3 days now of Altspace, and I was so lucky to have found you online, and you were available to have a few minutes and just share a little bit about Altspace and what kind of all the amazing things you've done here. I would love to hear some of them if you would like to list.
Uh, well, I suppose the main one is Metavale Park. It wasn't just myself. Uh, Behind that, there's a group of us. It all just came off an idea. One night I don't even know where we were at. We were just in a world, and we were chatting about how it would be cool to have like a town. Uh, so we started
Yeah.
messing around with Allspace kits, and we started laying paths and roads, and we soon realised that this wouldn't be very plausible to do, and it would take a long, long time to build a
Hmm.
whole town. And it would get heavier and heavier the more things we put in. So I said, well, I could probably make a template, and then we can put some houses in, and then build like a little town, and then we can. The idea initially was to have houses, and people could decorate the houses, but after a short period of time, it was clear that decorating the houses would just make it so heavy on the world, and it was getting quite heavy. So what we decided was to then I made a template of each house, so people could join the template group for the houses, and then they could put the name on a house in Metavale Park, so they became part of the community, and then build their own house using that house template, and then we put the code on the house in Metavale, so people could put the code in and go and visit the actual house.
Just like the
And
doorbell.
yeah, well, but that's what it evolved into. It evolved into the link button. So you just press the link button on the door, which are there now in Metavale Park, and it just takes you straight to the person's world, and they could decorate it however they wanted, and people got really creative doing it, and some amazing houses that people have made. And that was what it was. It became this community for people to just drop in at any time. They could just check on a neighbour's house and go and pop around and visit, and even if they weren't in, and that's what it evolved into, and we changed it up and did various different things, like putting a tightrope walk across the top of Metavale Park so people could go
Oh,
on top of a building and actually walk across a tightrope, and we built a climbing wall on one building. Um,
I love
there's
it.
various things on top of the buildings as well, which we made accessible through the green buttons. And we had uh, quite a lot of great nights in there. People just dropping in and having a good time. And we had the big screen there as well, using 90 Nights player. People
Uh-huh.
could sing songs, and it was a good little community. Um, then obviously the news Altspace uh, decided to call it a day, and then I've
Mm.
I've looked at other platforms, and the first one I tried is Spatial. That was the first one I was able to actually try and have a go at, and I got it to work, and it's now in there in a slightly different form. But the one in Altspace, you've got shop fronts for different worlds to different places on Altspace. We had people coming up asking if they could be put in. There were some people whose worlds were just worlds that we felt, were quite popular, and it would be nice to have them in there so people can just go straight to them, like karaoke in the trees.
Hmm.
So it's like a quick stop as well to various places. Um, Inky made several videos in them videos, telling different stories using Metavale as the backdrop of the story. One of them was I lost my virginity in Metavale Park. All available on YouTube under InkyVR.
Iki's
And
amazing.
she's created an absolutely brilliant backlog of stories, songs on there. Um, and Steve as well, Death to Ego, the pair of them have created some great stuff in there. So that was that was the main one that I did. I think the one personally that probably means more to me than any was the memorial park I built. It was just a park with some benches, and I always liked it, but I just didn't know what to do with it. And
Mhm.
I had it sort of there in Unity, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And I would come back to it and look at it, and then just one day, I I actually brought it in Altspace, but it wasn't public, and I was just wandering around it, and I just stopped at this bench, and I looked at the bench, and I just thought I could put a plaque on this bench for my mum, and put a photo and a
Mhm.
plaque of like when she was born and when she passed away. And I just thought I could do that for everybody. So off the back of that, I obviously put my mum's in, and then I asked in my group on Facebook if anybody was interested in having a bench with a little plaque to their loved one. And in some cases, I put some music on for them as well. So you sit down and some music plays, maybe it's their favorite song.
Mm.
And I didn't expect anything really, and before I knew it, I was bombarded with people wanting to have a bench and wanting to put something on for whoever their loved ones are, and it soon became like, what became evident was there's a lot of people out there who have somebody who's passed away, but they don't have anything in real world to go to or anywhere to go because maybe their ashes were spread somewhere else or they passed away in a different country or town, and
Mhm.
it's just not easy for them to get there. So a lot of people found it really helpful for when an anniversary or them days when you miss that person, and you could just go in there and sit on that bench and just be alone with your thoughts. It wasn't a world that got like overly busy, so it was perfect that people could just go in any time of the day and just sit for a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, 20 more, whatever time they needed.
Mm.
And I had a lot of people saying that they found it was like a real help for them because they actually had somewhere they could go, especially on those anniversaries and special occasions. And that one world is the one that I think I'm probably the most proud of because it meant a lot to me personally, and the fact that people got a lot of comfort from it in a difficult time. I mean, it sounds morbid. Some people may think it's a bit of a morbid thing, but it really wasn't like that. It was a really quiet and peaceful place, and you'd come away feeling happier because you were able to just have that moment. Um, and I also put um, a section in for some of the Altspace people, who had actually passed away. Um, some of them I hadn't met myself. Max
Max
and
and Ostrov.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, the young lady who passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Just
My lady.
yeah,
Oh, and
and
from Seattle, Christina from
yes,
Seattle.
Christina, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't know them, but I was approached and asked if they could put something in there, and I had no problem with that. So I created this section in the middle for people from Altspace. One was a friend of mine called Brian who passed away last year
oh,
in his
so
sleep,
sorry.
and Brian used to come on and
Oh,
have a great time on Altspace. And it was all of our friends could just go in, and all of Max and Christina's friends could go in any time and just be at their little bench and just have that little moment. Yeah, that one's the one that it hurts to leave behind because it just means quite a lot. So I am looking to see if I can bring it in somewhere else, but I
okay.
don't know if it'll have that same feel as
Right.
what it had in here. It was just a nice little place.
I'm,
Um, I had a
I'm,
pool bar as well when
mm,
Luminosity brought out the pool tables.
mm-hmm.
Um, I just thought, well, this is great to just make a little pool bar. So I just made this bar and it became quite popular. We used to hang out there all the time, playing pool on a night, playing for hours on end. I built a little trophy that you could pick up to win. There was I eventually put an extra room down below as well. It's like a little karaoke bar that was hidden. It was a bit of a secret for quite a while.
Oh, that's cool.
You just went over to the jukebox in there and you pressed on the top of the jukebox in this little red box, and it takes you down to the hidden karaoke room downstairs. So sometimes people came in, could hear people singing, thinking, "Where are they at? I can't see them." And even if you went outside, you couldn't see it because it was so far below the world. You just would never find it. But yeah, we had a lot of special nights in there. But I did things like Sarah Appleby's studio for her game show, her chat show,
Hmm.
and she had quite a lot of shows in there. It was good fun. She'd have people in, guests in, and give them a bit of a grilling and play music, and it was just a nice atmosphere. I did quite a lot of little sort of gifts to friends of mine
Hmm.
on birthdays, and so I'd just give them a little world that they could have
Isn't that
to
so fun
do what they want with.
to do that for
Um,
people? It's just that's
yeah,
such an amazing experience to I was thinking like we used to make mixtapes, for
mhm,
friends, and now you
yeah,
can make like a world for them.
yeah, yeah. It was just nice fun. There'd be a group of us, and somebody's birthday was coming up, and we'd get together, and if I could make something, I would make it, or we would get a template from somewhere else and make a world up for them, and like most people do with the parties. But yeah, they were always quite nice to do, because I could make it personal to that person as well. Like Dragon had his birthday in December, and I made him a birthday world out of a guitar because he plays guitar.
Oh,
And so you came in, you landed on top of the guitar, and you walked down the fret of the guitar,
down the
and you
front,
dropped inside, and
jumped
there was
into
a
the
whole
case.
part inside the guitar. And it was things like I enjoyed doing. It was just good fun just to do something different and let people enjoy it. But yeah,
You've got such creativity, and I'm curious what other sort of artistic pursuits or design pursuits that you have a background in, or is most of this sort of new in your VR
it was
explorations?
all new to me. I came in Altspace, I couldn't use Unity. I never even heard of Unity. And it was just all self-taught. I just watched videos and read various documents. If I got stuck with something, I would look it up and find it, and then figure it out. And then a lot of it was trial and error. If it didn't work, I'd start again. And I'd always said at the beginning of the whole process, um, if I try something and it doesn't work, then I can just stop and try again. And I always knew I would have there'd be errors, there'd be problems, but I knew I would always find a way to fix it and get beyond it. So I always started off. I just wanted to make a basic kit. I can't even remember what the first kit was I made. But it was just make a kit, and then once I got that, I decided, right, now I'm going to keep making a new kit, and just until I get to the point where I don't need to look up the instructions.
Hmm.
And then from doing that, that gave me enough knowledge to then go to the next level. And I think the next level I did was animation, like animated characters. You'll have seen some of the dancing people in that I've done.
Yes.
They pop around all over. So that was the next step that I did, and then I managed to do that to the point where I didn't need to use the instructions. And then
Wow.
the final one was to create a world template. And I never thought I'd even get to that point when I started making kits. I was thinking, oh God, no way I'll be able to make a world in here. And then again, I can't even remember what my first one was. It was probably a nightclub, and again, I just kept doing it and failing and doing it and failing, and eventually I understood it. And then as I went on, I found I was working out different things and was listening to people, talking to people. They would give me advice on how to do certain things. I would ask people, and it was just doing that. I was able to figure it all out. And there's still things I'm not 100% on, but again, if I get stuck and if it's something I need to do, I can ask somebody how to do it. I can look it
Mhm.
up on the internet. YouTube videos have been so helpful. I was lucky at the time because it was during the COVID time, so I had a lot of time at home, so
Mhm.
I could focus on things. And I think if I hadn't been doing that, I probably wouldn't have like, got to where I was at or where I got
Mhm.
to. Um, so it got to the point where I could build now just from like scratch and just
From
things
scratch.
together and make. I mean, this was just all from a U build kit, and I just built it how I wanted it.
And not only
Uh,
that, you took your kits and your templates and you offer them as part of the Altspace feature, the groups feature, and you offer them to the
mm,
entire community. And I went
yeah,
in and I would go through and I've, had the wonderful benefit of being able to play around and create things with your
mm,
amazing kits and templates. So it's wonderful to be here and to be able to appreciate, and hear you telling me the evolution of how you taught yourself and learned all these things. It's just really,
mm,
it's super inspirational, but then also what you have brought with these gifts, back to people, I know has been so loved and so appreciated by
I
many, many
appreciate that.
people. And, then on top of all that, then you went and you've created your entire sort of your own community hub on Facebook and on Discord. You have a wonderful group, and um, it's really amazing to kind of see this evolve. And I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that or sort of your next
Well,
sort of plans over the next few
yeah,
months.
well, touching on that, do feel that. I mean, I don't. I'm just a regular bloke doing regular things. But the way I see it is we're all sort of components in this whole process where we all have our own little areas that we can excel in. And I always, when I started making kits, I always if I could make something and give it to people to use, then that's great. I didn't want people to be paying for stuff. I mean, like, I'm not knocking people who make money on these things. That's up to
Sure.
them. That's their business, and I really respect that. But personally, I saw a lot of people who they couldn't afford to pay £300-400 for a world or
Right.
£50 for one item, and um, I just thought I want to be able to let people who don't have that ability or they don't have a computer where they can make um, Unity items and bring them in. So I
Right.
thought, well, I can do that. I'm in a position where I can, so I've got no problem with people using it. And then I always thought to myself, people on here, well, there was a lot of people on here who were really creative people, but they didn't have the tools at their disposal to express that creativity. So by me just giving them a template and making it blank as I can, they then have the tools to turn that world into whatever they want it to be. A great example is Veronica's Irish bar. That was just one. It was the same template as my pool bar. It was just
Aha.
an empty room, and she used just one kit that I provided, which was an Irish bar kit. But it was all
Yes.
these different pieces of a bar.
That's a great
She
kit.
turned it into an actual pub. You walk in there and you would never in a million years look around and go, "Oh, this is the same as DW's pool bar," because it just looks nothing like it. And that's what I was actually quite emotional when she took us in there the first time. It kind of took my breath away because that was exactly what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
And I saw somebody take all the stuff that I'd gave her, and she created, and she's so creative, and there's so many people on here like that who don't have the Unity tools or whatever, and they don't need it because they've got everything there to do it in a different way. I've got a friend called Terry who similar kind of situation. He built well, he's built about 4 different worlds where he's just taken individual pieces and just made a world where one of them was a replica of the Liverpool Cavern where the Beatles used to perform, and he
Oh,
built the whole
yes.
world look like the cavern just using
Yes, I
Altspace.
saw that. Yes.
It's he's made an ice bar using just my ice kit, and he made this bar, laid it out exactly how he wanted it to look. Um, he did a comedy club, and all of these places were all just blank, nothing there at all, no plane or anything. It was just a blank skybox world, Altspace skybox, and that was it. And then he just made it into something out of the kits that he was given. And again, that is a different kind of creativity. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do what Veronica did or Terry did, and
Yeah.
countless other people on Altspace have done. And that's what I always wanted people to be able to do, and seeing people doing it, and you go into a world and you look around, you think. Sometimes I've gone in, I thought, is this really my template? And, and it's just because they've done such a good job with it.
That's awesome.
Um, and that's the community spirit that Altspace has created. Which hopefully it will live on in other forms, but yeah, I think there's a lot of really creative people on here, and I think they shouldn't keep looking at the people who build worlds, because without people visiting worlds, we had nothing, and without people creating worlds with the templates, we had nothing. So
Yep.
they're the ones who should be applauded, not people like me or anybody else who nobody's above anybody on here. We're all just equal people doing equally amazing things.
That's very, very well put. And I think that's
Mhm.
one of the things that has the sort of flavor of alt space that, perhaps we'll see other
Mhm.
places as well. And of course, every social platform has its own beautiful community and sort of interests. And so I
Mhm.
look forward to kind of seeing where some of these pieces from alt space land and, sort of now and
Yeah.
later. But and you're also right that it's about the spaces that everyone has created, and we're all kind of part of that
Mhm.
stew.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You look around. There's so many different types of world. You've got like karaoke worlds. You've got nightclubs. You've got just individual homes, and there's so many different varieties. Cinemas, and no matter what you wanted, whatever you came on here and you thought, oh, really fancy doing this tonight, you could find a world that would cater for it.
Yeah,
And that I haven't seen that anywhere yet.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's going to be a shame. I'll miss it.
yeah. Do you have
But
plans for last day in alt space, or are you going to jump right into VR chat afterwards, or spatial, or what are you thinking?
I will be in all space until it explodes. I'm going to be here. I will on the Thursday. I'll be karaoke in the trees, probably all night. And
Wonderful.
it's the first and only event, karaoke in the trees, which I think deserves a lot of praise, because that place has been a happy place for a lot of people on Altspace. It deserves to go out with a massive party, which is going to happen on Thursday. There's going to be a lot of people turning up, and anybody wants to come along, and it doesn't matter if you can sing or not. Nobody judges anybody there. It's just, if you can sing, you can see. If you can't sing, just sing anyway, because everyone will join in.
That's right.
And yeah, we're just gonna sing the night away and into the small hours.
That
And
sounds amazing.
it starts at my time at 9 o'clock UK time till about 2 in the morning. But then Altspace doesn't close till I think 6 o'clock in the UK
Uh-huh.
PM
That sounds about right.
on the
Yeah.
Friday. So I'll get a bit of sleep and then I'll be up again, and I'll just come on and I'll be in karaoke in the trees still singing. I'll be hoarse by Friday night. But yeah, it's a shame, but it is what it is. There's nothing we can do now.
Well, I want
Maybe
to,
there's some miracle up there.
just thank you. I'm going to miss these little emojis.
Yeah,
But thank you so
yeah,
much for everything,
a lot
and
of
just for taking time today. These last
Mhm,
moments are precious, and all the things
absolutely.
you've talked about today, I learned a lot. Your memorial world is beautiful. I'm
Mhm.
so glad that you shared about that. And any final thought before I wrap it up?
Um, well, all I'll say is just thank you to everybody for just being so creative and being so welcoming to everyone. I mean, the good things on Altspace far outweigh any bad things that have happened by a vast margin. There's so many good nights we've had on here, so much laughter. There's there's people found love on here. I was just talking to somebody earlier on. I don't know if you know Sarah Appleby. Her and Rob, who met on Altspace, actually met in my pool bar. Um, and now meeting up in real life happily
Oh,
together. Um,
oh,
Another beautiful story from this little world of little cartoonish people. There's loads of stories like that.
there are.
Um, and I think that's what we should all take away from this whole experience, is just all the amazing people we've met. I mean, I've met people from all around the world now. I would never have had the chance to speak to somebody in Canada and USA and Germany, Italy, or people everywhere. And I've made some good friends, and a lot of people who I'll be friends with for a long, long time after, and I'll be in touch with, after Altspace goes. Um, yeah, all I can say is just thank you to everybody for just making this whole experience such a good one. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much.